안녕하세요 여러분, 여러분의 제예요. My name is AJ and welcome back to Shadow Spinner Reacts, where we are continuing with episode 2 of Extraordinary Attorney Woo. Now, if you haven't seen this yet, you're going to want to go watch it on Netflix first and then come back because we are going to be cutting it up quite a bit for copyright. Also, don't forget to check out the Patreon where you can get updates on my channel. You can also join to vote in the polls to decide what I watch next on the channel, get content up to 3 weeks early, and get my full uncut reactions. And we've got some Patreon exclusives coming up pretty soon too. So it'd be great to see you over there, or you can just hang out with me here on YouTube, whatever floats your boat. I am so loving this show so far. Everything about it is just making me happy. It's I don't know if there's going to be more stress involved in the show later on, but right now this seems to be like a feel-good show. Even though we're dealing with criminal cases and everything, it makes me happy for the most part. The guy, obviously, talking to his wife that way pissed me off in the last episode, but that's not, the show is not about, it seems like, the crime. The show is about the people in the office and how they're dealing with their job and work and interacting with each other, and I'm just enjoying that. I have no predictions. I don't think I'm gonna be making predictions throughout this show. I'm just gonna be taking it for what it is, and yeah, let's just go ahead and get into it. So, without further ado, let me get this recording. 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, I did not notice the whale in the cloud before in the background.
자, 마지막으로 신랑 신부 하객분들에게 인사.
I would hate a wedding like this.
신랑 신부에게 축하의 박수를 보내주시길 바랍니다.
This seems like so stressful. This seems like the wedding is about the appearance of the wedding and not about the happiness of the fact that you're getting married. It's too big. There's too many people. This is too stressful. What are you seeing in the crowd? What is going on? This does not seem like a happy event. That would be horrifying. It's a tattoo. It looks like it's a Buddhist tattoo. I only got a short glimpse of it. But also, like, this looks horrifying. On multiple levels. It's like, you got so many strangers there.
큰 녀석이 아빠한테 밥상을 차려주지 못한 망정. 반찬 투정이냐?
She's brutally honest, but it's like, dude, he took the trouble to make the food for you.
언제 가서 결혼할래?
If you're gonna complain about the food other people make for you, make your own food.
웨딩 드레스 입어보고 싶지 않아?
No. Well, maybe. I'd have to see the bottom of the dress.
아버지는 저런 웨딩 드레스 입어보고 싶습니까?
But also, that wedding dress came apart,
내가 입어보고
pretty badly.
싶은 게 아니고.
From tripping on it. I tripped on my wedding dress in my wedding.
결혼식에
And I tore the bottom of it a little bit, but it didn't cause the top of it to unravel.
아, 웬일이야? 고래 얘기를 알아서 관두고?
Yeah, she's practicing.
더 듣고 싶습니까?
아니, 뭐 그냥. 아, 이상하잖아.
She's practicing stopping and
앞으로는 듣기
asking.
싫다는 사람에게 억지로 말하지 않겠습니다. 이제는 제 고래 이야기를 들어주는 사람이 있으니까요.
Ah.
그 누구야?
She removed all of them and put them in a pattern. I'll be honest, I do not like kimbap that has that in it either. I like tsamsi kimbap, which is like the almost like a tuna salad type kimbap. It's my favorite. It's my favorite.
망할 놈의 대연 호텔 새끼들 때문에.
결혼식 때 사고가 있었습니다. 회장님 따님께서 어깨랑 소매가 없는 웨딩 드레스를 입고 계셨는데 흘러내렸습니다.
대연 호텔에서 다 알아서 해준다길래 모든 최고로 맥혔더니 2억 3천 듭니다.
I feel like a problem with the wedding dress isn't the fault of the venue. A problem with the wedding dress is the fault of the wedding dress shop. It's supposed to make sure that everything will stay in place. That's not the hotel that they should be mad at. It's whoever was in charge of the wedding dress, which wasn't the hotel. I wouldn't imagine. Usually the venue has nothing to do with the wardrobe.
10억 미치면 말도 꺼내지 마시오.
Unless the venue like provided the wardrobe, but that's almost unheard of for weddings.
대연 호텔에서는 결혼식 비용 전액을 환불해 주겠다고 했습니다. 신랑 신부에게 1,000만 원 상당에 이르는 대연 호텔 숙박권을 주겠다는 말도 했고요.
현금화하면 2억 4천만 원을 제시한 거네요. 나쁘지 않은데요?
뭐? 나쁘지
No, that's not bad.
망신을 당했어요. 친척의 친구의 거래처
But that's not the venue's fault. The venue didn't force your daughter to trip on her dress. They didn't.
아니요, 그게 아니라
정말 쉽지 않습니다. 실제 판례들이 그래요. 인정이 되더라도 액수가 크지 않습니다.
결혼식 비용을 다 돌려줄 뿐 아니라
What they're saying is if you take it to court, you'll lose, you'll look like an idiot, and you will get less than the hotel offered.
한 받아도 태산이랑 다를 게 없구만.
They can't change what the law is.
활동일 때만
Okay,
6,000평이야.
a lawyer's
송사한테
job
한두 개겠어?
is not to get everything that their client wants. That is not a lawyer's job. Okay? Clients seem to think that that's a lawyer's job. That's not a lawyer's job. A job that the lawyer does not go, "What do you want? I'll go get it for you." The lawyer's job is to listen to what the problem is, know what the law is, or be able to quickly research what the law is and what the precedent is and what courts have done in past similar cases, and then honestly advise their client, you know, how to proceed. Now, if the client really wants to proceed, you can't necessarily stop the client, but you don't have to represent them.
10억은 받아야 되지 않겠어?
Why would you get $1 million because your daughter tripped on her own dress?
해보겠습니다.
No, you can't. See, and that's something that, like,
한다는 거.
she let her pride get in the way. Honestly, she should have said, "No, your pride's not worth that much."
그렇다면 많아야 5천만 원을 넘기 어렵습니다.
맞아요. 근데 살다 보면 이렇게 말도 안 되는 요구를 하는 의뢰인도 만나게 돼요.
You come across clients like this who make
사건
ridiculous
방법을 찾아보자고.
demands. So what they're saying is the client wants this. We will look good if we get him at least this because everybody else told him he wasn't going to get more than this. So they're not actually going to try to get that for their client. What they're going to try to do is use this number to get the offer from the hotel to come up.
호텔 측 잘못이라는 걸 보여줄
The hotel could very well be, we don't owe that. Nothing in the law says that we should be responsible for it. We didn't make your daughter trip on her dress. She embarrassed herself. That's not our fault. We don't actually have to give you anything.
둘만 있는 게 좋다니? 뭐야? 둘이 친해?
She's jealous. She's like, are you...
정의가 둘만 있을 때 나누는 이야기가 따로 있는 사이라면 친해.
Like, depends on what you mean by being close. Yeah, they have whales to discuss. She's jealous, though, because she likes the same guy. But I don't think
결혼식 후로는
U영우 is thinking in that way. She's just happy she has a friend to discuss whales with. You tripped on your own dress. You chose a style of dress that there's a risk of that happening because you chose a strapless dress and then you tripped on. You chose a strapless dress. You didn't get it altered properly, so the length of the dress was too long, which was what allowed you to trip in the first place. You then tripped on it. You chose not to have anything underneath the dress that would have protected you in that case. Like, I'm sorry, this entire incident is the bride's fault. So there are two ways to approach something like this. One is to, and you kind of have to do both at once. One is to convince the hotel that they don't want to deal with the cost and the publicity of arguing this case and they should just acquiesce. And the other one is convincing your client to come down off their high horse.
그냥 비워놨어요. 파혼하자는 얘기도 하신 것 같더라고요.
결혼식 때 일로 화영 씨에게 실망을 해요?
Probably more to do with the tattoo than anything else.
제 등에 관세음보살 문신이 있거든요.
네.
So it's a religious conflict.
그 웨딩 드레스에 문제가 있는 건 언제 아셨죠?
결혼식 날 아침에요. 가방할 때 꽤 타이트하게 맞췄었는데.
So you knew there was a problem with the dress
하더라고요.
before walking down.
대연 호텔 직원한테 그 얘기를 했나요?
네, 했죠. 드레스 입혀주는 언니한테요. 근데 그냥 살이 빠져서 그런 것 같다면서 드레스 안쪽으로 핀을 더 꽂아주더라고요.
So like
김하영 씨 결혼식인데요.
the weird suggestion is that somebody intentionally loosened the dress to embarrass her at the wedding.
김하영 씨, 남편을 사랑합니까?
네?
죄송합니다. 지금 그 질문이라고 해요?
It is a question.
네.
집안 사업 만드시는 것도 아니고.
Yes, especially because I think they said the Daeon Hotel is owned by the other family.
결혼식 망친 거 생각하면 나도 열받죠. 뭐 특급 호텔 웨딩 서비스라더니 뭐가 있다인가 싶고. 그렇지만 이 대현 호텔도 대현 건설도 이 대현 그룹 계열인 거잖아요. 몸에 문신이 있는 거 아시죠? 뭐 지우기도 힘들고 잘 안 보이는 데 있잖아요. 근데 할아버지는 배신감까지 느끼셨더라고요. 아무래도 연세가 있으시고 독실한
Well,
기독교
that
신자시니까
so he's probably
드러내라
not just that
무슨
she had it, but it's
결혼이냐고.
that it was revealed in public and that he
혼인신고도 안
thinks it's
했는데
going to reflect
그냥
badly on him because of his
관두라고
position in the
하시더라고요.
church or
그럼
whatever.
파혼하실 건가요?
그 김하영 씨랑은
So this is like
파혼에 대해
more
얘기해
people that are like
우리
once
서로
again they're like, well,
얼굴
we have to
한번
see
찍겠어요. 화영이가
how the adults feel about it.
날카로워져서 정신과 다니고 하니까
So neither of them seem to have an
만나면
actual
자꾸
opinion
싸우게
on their own marriage or
정신과요.
wedding.
저 나이 먹도록 스스로 밥상 한번 차려본 적도 없을걸요?
권민우 변호사는 스스로 밥상 차려본 적 있습니까?
당연하죠. 그 우영우 변호사는 없습니까?
He's like, wait, you haven't prepared your own food yet? But you're an adult. But she's an adult that lives with her dad, who runs a shop where he makes food.
솔직히 스스로 밥상을 차리고 부모로부터 독립을 해야 한다고 생각합니까?
글쎄요. 뭐 그러면 좋겠죠?
하지만 번거래는 평생 동안 어미로부터 독립하지 않고 함께 다닙니다. 인간의 기준대로라면 번거래는 모두 마마보이 마마걸.
야 우영우, 너 지금 뭐해? 우영우가 자주 이래요?
아니요. 그냥 가끔.
Since he gave her permission to talk to him about whales, she calls him all the time to talk about whales. Too much, too much. You need to set up boundaries.
하마만큼 무거운 새끼를 낳는 장면을
So
포착하기 그렇게
random.
어려울까 싶겠지만 바다는 너무나 크고 또 깊어서 고래들의 비밀을 굳게
He's like,
지키고 있는
it's
겁니다.
like he doesn't even know what to do with this.
일종의 펌프 역할을 합니다.
Oh
고래는
my
깊은
gosh.
바다에서 먹이를
Oh my
먹고
gosh.
배수면으로
Stop.
올라와 배설을
You shouldn't
하는데
have, like,
그 배변이
you should
바로
have been more
심한
specific when you
성분의
gave her
영양분이
permission.
되거든요.
You should have been way more specific.
평생 들어주실 거예요?
네?
평생 들어주실 거 아니면 준호 씨가 먼저 선을 그어줘야죠. 그게 진짜 영우를 위한 일 같은데.
I mean, there is truth in that. If you let her just, like, rely on you to be this person for her and then, like, one day just completely cut her off because you can't handle anymore, it's gonna really throw her for a loop. Like, you need to, like, set reasonable boundaries and be honest about what those boundaries are. She can handle it. She just needs to know what the boundaries are. Oh, that sucks. So uncomfortable and so embarrassing. Oh, that's unfortunate. Oh, don't tell him.
어떻게 오셨어요?
지하철을 타고 왔습니다.
아, 네.
He meant,
최수영
what are you
변호사를
doing
만나야
here?
합니다.
Oh, that's so embarrassing. But at least she had somebody to help her out of that situation. But that's
장난해? 내
the
옷장에
worst.
다른 바지도 없었어? 정장 바지들?
no. She's like, you.
자기야라고 부르기로 했어. 준호 오빠도 좋지만 남들 앞에서 자꾸 이름을 말하면 위험해.
It's weird, but this is kind of like making her grow on me a little bit. Like, I did actually like her in the last episode because I understood her. I didn't think she was being mean
배가 불러오기 전에 세상에서 가장 예쁜
To-
드레스를 입고
to
대연 호텔에서 결혼하는 게 내
Uwongu.
이제 너의 꿈이거든.
I didn't think she was being mean to her when she was doing the, like, are you an idiot? Because I didn't take that as her calling her an idiot. I thought that was taking her the other way. Like, she's like, you are too smart of a person to be doing this nonsense.
그래서 준호 씨 아이가 여기.
But, like, this is, like, another level of, like, just very much humanizing her. Like, for all that she's, like, super smart and everything, she, like, had her entire dream life planned with this guy that she had a crush on. And while it's ridiculous, it also makes her very, very, like, human and flawed. And also, honestly, like, if I have a conversation with two people and one of them is obsessed with whales and the other one is, like, gone off the deep end imagining their life with a guy that they're not even dating yet, I'm actually thinking that the whale talk is substantially more normal and less concerning to me.
보통 한 1년 정도는 기다리셔야 되는데 두 분 아주 운이 좋으셨어요.
우리가 결혼을 서두르는 이유는 속도 위반을 했기 때문입니다.
Oh, this was the story that they'd planned.
여기서 속도 위반이란 교통법규상 제한된 속도 이상의 속력을 내는 행위를 뜻하는 것이 아닙니다. 알고 있습니까? 그래서 우리가 속도 위반을 했습니다.
Oh my gosh, this is so awkward, but still, she's like, the wedding planner's like, I don't even know what to do. Okay, you know what? They're the client. Their word is law. That was the ikulelia, or however that word is pronounced. Or like she has to repeat the thing.
주연이 잘렸잖아. 그때 드레스 흘러져 있을 때. 몰라. 빵셔티랑 간다.
So they know the one girl was fired over it. So that means they have a disgruntled ex-employee who's probably willing to spill the dirt on everything. Especially if it wasn't actually her fault, but it was pinned on her. Creepy.
그 배주 씨 연락처 좀 알 수 있을까요?
죄송합니다. 언니 개인 정보라서 죄송합니다.
Good. Correct. That is the correct answer. Do not give out your coworker or even your ex-coworker's private information to somebody you don't know. Or even to somebody that you do know. If somebody asks for a coworker's information, you tell the coworker, hey, so-and-so said they were trying to contact you. But you always let the coworker decide that, because you don't know who that person is. They could be a psycho stalker ex. She's pretty. She is very, very pretty. Oh, cute. Dude, like, you're in crush mode. It's hilarious.
정신과 치료를 2달 넘게 받고 있습니다. 피고 대연 호텔은 원고로부터 2억 3천만 원이라는 거액을 받고 결혼식을 진행했는데 그 결과가 파혼이라면 손해가 결코 작지 않습니다. 웃고 지나갈 해프닝이 아니라고 생각합니다.
그 웨딩 드레스가 흘러내린 사고 자체가 원고의 부주의 때문이지 대연 호텔의 잘못이 아닙니다.
I tend to agree with that statement.
원고가 정신과 치료를 받는 것도 파혼 위기에 처한 것도 대연 호텔에 책임질 일이 아닙니다.
I'm sorry. I kind of really agree with the hotel on that.
대왕골의 어미는 이 고지방젖을 날마다 200kg씩 만듭니다. 그걸 6개월 동안 먹고 자란 새끼고래의 몸무게는 얼마나 증가할까요?
글쎄요. 변호사님은 고래 얘기 말고는 저한테 하고 싶은 말 없으세요?
없습니다.
없어요?
He's like, I want to talk to you about other subjects.
고래 얘기는 시간을 정해놓고 하면 어때요? 아무 때나 하지 말고요.
고래 얘기가 꼭 필요한 상황이라면?
그럴 때는 해야죠.
네, 그럴 때는 해야죠.
Like she needs the out. She needs to be like, what if it's absolutely necessary to talk about whales? But there we go. That was a nice way of putting like parameters on it so it doesn't drive him up a wall. Because yeah, like he needs to be able to get ready in the morning without being interrupted with a random phone call about whales that will last however long and then being hung up on. He will eventually lose his mind.
여기 어쩐 일이세요?
Ikulelia.
배주 씨 연락처 알고 싶어서요.
Ikulela. I need to figure out how to pronounce that word.
이상한 일 아니에요. 부탁드립니다.
죄송해요. 제가 막 알려드리면 안 될 것 같아요.
웨딩 드레스 벗겨진 일이 있었죠. 2달 전쯤에요. 그 일 관련해서 배주 씨한테 물어보고 싶은 게 있어요.
수사하러 오신 거예요?
그날 신부였던 김화영 씨가 아직까지 정신과 치료 받는 거 혹시 알고 계세요?
We need to know if there was sabotage involved and if there was actual negligence on the part of the hotel.
지혜 씨한테 피해 안 가도록 조용히 진행할게요.
주희 언니 외국 갔어요.
Well, I mean, like, how much is the law firm gonna get paid for this case? All right, they skipped over like finding her and everything and just jumped to this point. And then there might be like a wrongful termination case to be had here.
김화영 씨의 결혼식이 있던 날
Look at how concerned the wedding planner looked to see her in that room.
신부의 드레스를 챙기는 도우미 역할을 했습니다.
아니 근데 이게 좀 많이 헐렁해진 것 같은데요?
증인은 뭐라고 대답하셨죠?
그럴 리가 없는데 신부님이 살이 많이 빠지셔서 그런가 봐요.
대답해 주세요. 지금도 그렇게 생각하십니까?
Is she? What did they? I mean, they sent her out of the country.
왜죠?
결혼식이 끝나고 나서 웨딩 드레스가 바뀌었다는 걸 알았거든요.
That's why she was fired. She wasn't fired for the incident. She was fired for what she found out after the incident.
결혼식 날 아침에
김하영 씨 맞춤으로 가공한 드레스가 찢어졌대요. 배주 씨라고 그때 같이 일하던 선배 직원의 실수로요.
Okay. Oh no. Oh, so she was the one that was fired. She was fired for the rip in the
수습할
dress.
시간이 없으니까 그때 갖고 있던 다른 드레스를 내보낸 거예요. 디자인은 같지만 사이즈는 약간 더 큰 걸로요. 그만둘 각오하고 여기 나온 거예요. 신부님이
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So this is where it becomes not even negligence, because negligence implies that it was an accident. And yeah, the actual incident was an accident, but they knowingly put the wrong dress on her. Knowing that it wasn't fit properly and that it was strapless. Yeah, okay, that changes actually everything. That changes everything.
결혼식 이후로 많이 힘듭니까?
네? 네.
왜 힘듭니까? 결혼식 망친 후기. 결혼식 일주일 후인 9월 8일 원고가 와글에 쓴 글입니다. 밑줄 친 부분을 읽어주시겠습니까?
But that doesn't change the fact that the dress incident happened because you gave them the wrong dress. Unless you were the one that ripped the dress.
지금
Which is...
남자 집안에서 파혼 얘기가 나오고 있어. 차라리 다행이야.
The fact that she wants to call up the wedding doesn't change the fact that she was embarrassed publicly. And the fact that she's trying to make the most of it doesn't take away the humiliation of having that happen in front of a lot of people.
파혼 위기에 처했다고 주장을 했습니다. 그러면서 대형 호텔에 무려 10억 원에 달하는 거액의 위자료를 요구했고요. 맞습니까? 그런데 이 글에서는 파혼 얘기가 나와서 다행이라고 말하고 있네요.
Yeah, that's actually I would argue be like, look, if my life is already destroyed, I might as well try to look on the bright side of it.
원고의 진심은 둘 중에 어느 쪽입니까? 결혼식 이후에 많이 힘들다고 하셨는데 도대체 왜 힘든 겁니까?
의뢰인께서 말씀을 안 하시면 저희도 도와드릴 수가 없습니다.
이 결혼
Yeah.
아빠가 정말 좋아했었어요. 오빠 할아버지가 도곡동에 땅을 갖고 계신데 결혼하면 저한테 그걸 주신다고.
This is a really messy thing, but I don't know that
신났었어요.
I don't know that
내가
her
어떻게
being
쓸지 벌써
happy
세웠더라고요.
about the wedding, her being happy about not having to go through with the marriage doesn't necessarily take away the humiliation of having that be what happened at the wedding. Like, she was exposed in front of a room with what looked like well over 100 people in it. Like, you can be happy that you're not gonna have to have the marriage and still be humiliated and have psychological after effects from what happened at the actual wedding. Those are two separate issues.
소송도 그냥 아빠가 분해서
And actually, that would have been my response. Be like, which of these is true?
재벌가 사돈
Both.
내긴 틀린 것 같으니까 오빠네 집안 골탕이라도 먹이고 끝내려고요. 사랑만으로 결혼할 수 있다고 생각한 건 아니지만 그래도 내 인생인데 저는 어떻게 해야 될지 모르겠어요.
I love the wind in the hair effect when she's thinking about whales and having an epiphany. Oh, look at the barnacles on it.
잘 됐습니다. 땅 선물이라니 정말 다행입니다.
네?
손해는 손해 3분설에 따라 이렇게 셋으로 나누기도 하지만 둘로 나눌 수도 있습니다. 알고
Explain it in
있습니까?
layman's term.
지금 나한테 문제 내는 거예요? 내가
Are you like are you quizzing me? My job is to quiz you, not the other way around.
통상 손해랑 특별 손해 말하는 거야?
통상 손해는 일반적으로 발생할
I kind of
것이라
want to
인정되는
do research
손해이고
now based on this show and see how much of this is accurate to Korean law. Because you know, you watch any American shows that are about like courtroom cases, and sometimes they get the law correct, and sometimes they get it like absolutely like off the wall incorrect. So I'm really curious.
다시 말해 토지 증여 약속이라는 특별한 사정이 있었던 것입니다. 얼마나 다행입니까?
이 파혼 때문이든 아니든 이 특별 손해배상이랑은 상관없으니까요.
우영우 변호사, 방금 말한 특별선의 아이디어로 의견서 한번 작성해 보세요. 그 청구 취지를 바꾸자 하는 제안이니까.
And also, like, I would put, like, the psychological damage isn't
다
from
같이
the...
한번 얘기해 봅시다.
I would
네,
never have
알겠습니다.
argued the psychological damage of the marriage breaking off. I would have argued the psychological damage
그
of
의견서
being exposed in a room full of, like, 100+ people with cameras present. Why aren't they arguing the psychological damage of that? I don't understand why they aren't arguing the psychological damage of that. I'm very confused by why they're just brushing over like that's not even a thing to worry about.
내일 도와주는 그
That would be
감정
so
평가를
much
좀
more
들어봤지.
to me, like that would be the cause of the PTSD for me, is that immediate humiliation in
그럼
front of strangers.
332억 원을 배상하라고 요구할 수 있어요. 이 결혼이 성사되면 김하영 씨에게 332억 원 가치의 땅이 생긴다는 걸 대현호텔 사장이 알고 있었으니까요.
어떻게 된다는 거요?
저희가 332억 원을 배상하라고 요구하면 대현호텔 측에서 연락이 올 겁니다. 합의하자고요. 그럼 그때 적정한 금액으로 합의하시면 됩니다.
적정한 금액 얼마?
1 billion.
332억 원의 10%인 33억 2천만 원에서부터
10%.
얘기를 시작할까 하는데 어떠세요?
So the fact that they knowingly gave the wrong dress is like vital to this whole thing.
지금까지 말씀드린
And he's happy because that's 3 times the amount he initially wanted. And then she still gets an out from the wedding, because if the wedding actually goes through, then they haven't actually had this loss. So they, at this point, need to not have the marriage for the loss to actually exist, because if the loss doesn't exist, then this whole argument goes away.
10억 받아오라고 했더니만 33억을 갖고 오겠다네.
Well, they said they're going to start with 3.32 billion.
내 의견은 안 중요해요. 그 돈 받으면 뭐가 달라지는데? 아빠도 좀 제발 이제 그만해요.
이대로 진행시켜 주시오.
So what's really iffy in this case is who the client is. Because who you have agency to, it's not necessarily the person who's paying you. The person who's paying you is irrelevant. Your agency obligations are to your actual client regardless of who is paying. So if the client is the daughter and she says, stop, I don't want to proceed with it, that's who you have to listen to, even if her dad's the one footing the bill. But if her dad's the one that is losing the money, then the argument is that the dad is the actual client because he's the one who has the damage from the incident.
홍주명 씨가 가진 도곡동 땅을 원고에게 주겠다고 했었죠. 이를 들은 피고는 역시 통이 크시다며 홍주명 씨를 칭찬했고요.
Oh, the lawyer from the other side, he's like, no. You saw him shaking his head because he knew instantly where this was going. He's like, shoot.
홍주명 씨가 원고에게 수백억 원에 달하는 땅을 결혼 선물로 주겠다고 약속한 사실을 알고 계셨던 거예요.
Look at you can see the lawyer for the other side. He's like, oh shoot, because he's like,
맞습니까?
he already put the whole line of logic together the moment it was brought up.
있었습니다. 이에 원고는 피고의 과실이 없었다면 얻게 되었을 토지의 감정평가액 332억 원을
Who is that? Because she stopped at her own wedding.
청구 취지 및 청구 원인 변경 허락해 주십시오.
뭐 허락하지 않을 이유도 없네요. 오늘은 더 하실 얘기들 없죠? 그럼
저요.
Is she gonna in court state that she doesn't want to proceed with this case?
소취하고 싶습니다.
And she's doing this in a location where her dad can't overrule her.
이거 그만하려면 어떻게 해야 돼요?
두 가지 방법이 있는데 둘 중에
간단한 걸로.
The simple one.
소취합니다. 라고 말하면 됩니다. 재판 중에 판사한테요.
It's that simple. Just tell the judge during the trial that you want to withdraw the case.
쉽네요.
Yeah.
네.
It's very easy.
그동안 왜 못했지?
Because you didn't know or think to do it because you thought it had to be complicated.
정신적으로 독립하지 못한 상태라서요. 권민우
didn't-
변호사가 한 말입니다. 권민우 변호사 눈에는 저도 그렇게 보일 것 같습니다. 김하영 씨는 스스로 밥상을 차려본 적이 있습니까?
She is very obsessed with the whole being told that not having prepared a meal on her own means she's not psychologically independent from her parents. She's very caught on that. And yeah, the other lawyer's like, yes, we accept the withdrawal. Please, yes, we accept the withdrawal. Oh my gosh, because he knew how much trouble he was gonna be in from that. He's like, you could see the panic the instant they changed the way they were approaching. He's like, no, because he would lose on that one. So he's like, oh yes, please, thank you for withdrawing. Are you?
내 문신 철없을 때 장난으로 새긴 거 아니야. 나 불교 믿어. 왜 정신과 다니는지 아빠는 모르지. 죽었다 깨나도 모를걸. 우리 둘이 10년을 붙어 다녔는데 아빠는 눈치도 못 채잖아.
신랑 신부 행진.
Yeah, she's been so terrified of what her dad would basically, like, he's been controlling her whole life. To be like not even allowed to say what your beliefs are and what your thoughts are and who you are as a person is like, it's horrific.
사랑하는 사람이랑 할 거야.
And the thing is, like, I don't even think he's upset for the reasons that she stated that she did anything. I think, honestly, he's upset that he can't use her to forge the connections that he wants to forge anymore. Because he seems significantly more concerned with gaining money because of the incident than he cared about her actual feelings or what she was going through.
아주 대단한 걸 놓쳤는데.
뭔데요? 어떻게 된 건데요?
대단했어.
대단했지.
뭐가?
They're like, that was amazing.
와우.
Wow.
저는 김초밥을 좋아해서 김초밥을 먹고 있습니다.
I'm eating this because...
아니,
why are they saying seaweed
아무리 그래도
sushi?
그렇지.
Kimbap is not seaweed sushi. That kimbap is not sushi at all. That's not what kimbap is. That was a that's like, of all of the weird translations, that was a horrible translation for what that food is. The only people who could possibly mix up sushi and kimbap are people who have not had them. Because if you've never had kimbap, you might glance at it and be like, oh, that's sushi. But the only thing they have in common is that they have the rice and the seaweed. Other than that, they're nothing alike. It is not even remotely the same. Not even remote. They don't taste anything alike either. Not even close. Seaweed sushi. Wow. Sorry, I was like borderline offended by that subtitle. Because kimbap is like one of my favorite foods.
이런 날이 다 있네. 우리 영우가 김초밥을 사왔네.
네.
It's not seaweed.
김밥 만든 아빠한테.
Just call it kimbap. Thank you.
김초밥을 사왔어.
네.
Just call it kimbap. Where it was GIMBAP. Just call it that. Don't weirdly rename or translate the food. Kimbap is kimbap.
네, 맛있게 드십시오.
Just call it kimbap.
하지만 만약에 사랑하는 사람이 생겨 결혼식을 한다면 동시 입장을 하겠습니다. 아버지가 배우자에게 저를 넘겨주는 게 아니라 제가 어른으로서 결혼하는 거니 부케를 드리겠습니다.
응?
아버지는 미혼부라 결혼해 본 적이 없으니까요. 제가 결혼한 뒤 혼자 사시기보다는 결혼을 하시는 게 좋겠습니다.
우리 영우 많은 생각을 했구나.
Although it kind of is strange the way she said, like, because I'm an adult, I'll be walking down the aisle by myself instead of you handing me off. And I'm like, but the point of the dad handing you off is it's actually symbolizing the dad's trust of who his daughter has chosen. Like, that he's trusting this person to take care of her now.
현장에서 뛰는 변호사로 돌아간다 생각하면 가슴이 막 뛰어요. 젊어지는 기분?
Oh, she's in this.
말씀은 그렇게 하셔도 대표직 자진 사퇴라니 그 위자료 10억 안 받아줬다고? 삐져서?
네, 그런 것 같습니다. 332억 원도 가능하다고 했답니다.
She's gonna read through the case proposal.
우영우? 우영우가
But
누구야?
why? This should be confidential work product. How is a different law firm able to access their confidential work product?
하신다니까 보내드려요. 한바다에서 삐질 일 생기면 또 우리한테 오겠지 뭐.
I'm sorry. How? Okay, so there are documents that are internal work product. And like the proposal for how to proceed with a case, that is not something that would ever be revealed like from discovery or anything. Like a lawyer or a law firm's strategy for how they plan to approach the case, that is all confidential information. That is all confidential internal information. So how did they get her confidential privileged work product to review like what? That's not something that would be made public. That's not something that would ever, unless there's a leak in the company, should not have been available for an outside firm to see, because you don't want people to know what your general strategies or plans are, because you might have to use that strategy again, and you don't want to give an edge to your opponent because they know what your playbook is, so they're preemptively coming up with barriers to your strategies. Like, drama. It's because it's a drama world, and because we need to introduce the possibility that another law firm is going to be considering poaching her. That's what I'm figuring. That's why it was introduced. But there's no way that that document should have ever been in the hands of a competing law firm. That is beyond ridiculous. Okay, just gonna pull up the cast really quick. Okay, Jin Kyung. That's the name of the actor. Oh my gosh, she's been in so many things. So, The Innocent Man, Goo Family Book, Good Doctor, which I watched a long time ago, Wonderful Days, Pinocchio, Uncontrollably Fond. She was in Dr. Romantic, My Lovely Liar. Those are all, and that's just the ones that I have seen. Oh, Blood, which was way long time ago. The Time We Were Not in Love. Oh My Venus was another one. So tons that I've seen. And then that's actually less than half of her list. She's in tons of stuff. Kanchana Saranghanda, she was in that as well, as It's All Right, That's Love. Just tons and tons. So it looks like she's going to be key supporting cast on the antagonist side, so that'll be interesting. But she's a phenomenal actress, so looking forward to seeing more of her as well. I thought it was interesting. So in the first episode with and I've already forgotten the character's name, our male lead, we had him set up as like completely understand it, and I'm glad that we saw more on his side now. It's like, okay, there would be a limit to how much you could handle. Especially if she's calling like any time of the day or night to come give her fun fact on whales and then peace out without, like, she hung up. She's like, I gave him a fun fact, and then she hung up on him before he could even respond. So, yeah, seeing some boundaries being set there, I feel so bad for her coworker. That would be the most humiliating thing. The most humiliating thing. I'm trying to think of any situation that would be more humiliating than that, and I honestly can't think of it. I would rather be in the bride's shoes where she got exposed in front of everybody. That is actually, to me, less humiliating than what her poor coworker went through. Oh my gosh. But then she was like spaced out in the clouds, like, here's the dream of the future white picket fence life that I've built. And then I love how she's like, you have to marry him because I can't anymore. And I'm like, even though it's fictitious, it's just like, I don't know. It was weirdly adorable, but also very cringy and kind of like, okay, lady, you're going off the deep end a little bit, and it's kind of worrisome. But very humanizing. The male attorney that's in the office, not her superior, but just the other attorney. I'm waiting to see more from him, because we're getting snippets from him, but we're not really seeing like a full developed like character yet from him. We're just getting kind of coworker snippets, and I'd be interested in seeing more of his overall character than just like the tidbits here and there. But yeah, so far, like, wonderful. I am confused about one thing, and this is just like where you feel the hand of the writer a little bit. If hand of the writer means that you can feel that the writers really wanted a thing to happen, so they wrote it that way, even though it doesn't really make any sense in the world of the story. So the them getting her work product, that's not even what I'm referring to. I am actually referring to, they clearly wanted the foil and the serendipity of the person who first got her to talk and whatnot, or was first ever to talk, being the first client. But that family, like, I don't know that woman had very much of her own money at all, like, especially if she was in a position where she'd be completely destitute without it. And her husband, I don't think, was paying for her lawyer bills at all like that. The firm that they're at is a very, very high level firm, and so it's completely understandable that they take on both civil cases and criminal cases, although usually you have specialized attorneys at a firm like that, especially if they have entire different divisions. Like, they have different offices for people that are handling certain parts of the cases. Presumably you'd have different lawyers assigned to, these people specialize in criminal cases, and these people specialize in civil cases that are contract disputes, and these people specialize in civil cases that are accidents and tort related. And like there's you'd have lawyers specialize. You wouldn't use the same lawyer team typically for vastly different fields of law. But that's not even the issue. The main issue is the money thing. It's hard for me to imagine a firm that prestigious and that has clients of that level taking on a client in a defense case that would not be able to pay them particularly well, and then giving them that whole team. So they don't just have one lawyer's time. They had the time of the main lawyer, the 3 lawyers that were on the team with them, and the assistant, the guy that was in the other department that helps basically with all of the information gathering and everything. That is a large team to be assigning to a defense case for somebody who would not have the funds to pay you very much. Like, I would have expected her to have a public defender. And so that kind of like stretches the bounds of believability for me. But so that's why I said, like, hand of the writer. I'm like, they really wanted that to be her first client, but it doesn't make any sense at all that client would have been represented by that law firm. But aside from that, like, breach of reality, which I'm accepting because this is like a feel-good story and not getting into the nitty-gritty, and that's just like me being very nitpicky. And the thing is, all of my complaints about this drama are going to be incredibly nitpicky because I like the drama so much. There's not any big issues for me with it. I'm enjoying it. But also, like, I have a legal background, so I can't not think about these things. No, but it's very interesting. I wish I knew more about the legal, like, and I think I said this last time, I wish I knew more about the specifics to the legal system in Korea, because, like, all of my knowledge is just, like, putting it in context of what it would be in the US, which is very different, except for the money thing. People who separate lots of money and little money, that's roughly the same everywhere. People who have clients, or firms that take on clients that bring in, you know, tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars, you know, each, they're not going to deal with clients who can't pay them. It's just not going to happen. But Enjoying it so far. I'm gonna get off of my rant now. I'm really looking forward to the next episode. But in the meantime, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, drop any suggestions for other shows you think I should watch down in the comments section below. Don't forget to check out the Patreon or just hang out with me here on YouTube, whatever floats your boat. And I will see you next time. Okay, bye-bye.